I don't know why I screamed, I'm sorry. Hey guys, what's up? It is Casey Molina here, and today I wanted to spend some time with you talking about the meaning of life. I don't want to talk about the meaning of life because that's a super broad existentialist topic, and we're not trying to get into any of that stuff today, hopefully. Today I do want to focus on what gives you meaning in life. That kind of special thing that gives you motivation and drive and makes you want to wake up every morning and just like better yourself, and I think indirectly better the world. So I don't see why we shouldn't talk about it. I've had a lot of time recently to contemplate this broad topic of the meaning of life, and I think I've just kind of come to the conclusion, and I mean, like, bear with me because maybe you've already come to this conclusion, maybe, I don't know, this isn't something that keeps you up at night. It doesn't really keep me up at night, but I do think about it a lot, and I've come to the conclusion that there's not that same meaning of life for everybody, you know? I've been thinking a lot about if I'm making the right choices with my education, with my majors, with how I'm spending my time. Am I being present enough? Am I making enough friends? Am I smiling enough? Am I doing everything I can to take care of myself today? And also, am I looking forward to the future just the right amount? And that's so stressful to think about in a broad spectrum, and I think it's easier if you do just focus on today and what your passions are and what your interests are. And I just think in the grand scheme of things, it's so silly to think that everyone has the same purpose in life and everyone has the same path that they need to take. And I think that, you know, as I've kind of just like thought about this more and more, I think college looks different for me than I thought it was going to look, and I have a lot of friends that aren't going to college, and I think in our society it's like, shocker, like, oh my god, you're not going to college, what are you doing with your life, like, you're doing something wrong. And I think that's just like a mindset that I've had for so long, like, if I'm being completely honest, and that's not true at all. I think everyone has their own path to follow, and everyone finds meaning in, I mean, what it is they choose to do with their life. I mean, and that's the hope, you know. I know not everybody finds like their life's work and their life's path, and not everyone is super happy with what they're doing every single day, but isn't the point to find that? And you shouldn't be looking at the person next to you and thinking like, oh, if we're doing the same thing, like, we must be on the right path, you know? It's my belief that we all have a calling. Some people are drawn to serve abroad. Some people are drawn to pull teeth. Some people are drawn to take care of babies. It's so different for everybody, and I think that's the beauty of it, is that there's so many things that you can be passionate about, which is great, because like, what if there was only one thing to be passionate about in this entire universe? We'd just have like a ton of homogenous, passionate people that all cared about the same things and not anything else. Which would like be kind of cool, but also like kind of suck. And I think the thing that's been really scary to me recently is that I realized like a path that I've kind of put myself on is not, it doesn't look like any path. The sun is coming out, so it's gonna get in my face. But it doesn't look like any path that I've ever seen anybody take before, so it's like super scary for me, because I don't really think I can look at someone and see them as like a guiding source in my life for like what it is I want to do. And that's something that has been scaring me for a while now, because I'm like, well, goodness, like, I'm getting all this education, and what am I going to do with it? What does that look like? Do my passions actually like lead me somewhere? And you know, you shouldn't be afraid of that. And I was actually talking to my grandma yesterday, because like, what calming factors grandmas are in this world. But I was like telling my grandma about like my study abroad program that I'm doing in the fall, and me double majoring and minoring, and she was just like, wow, Casey, like, you're so cool. Like, it's just amazing. You have the best ideas for how to put things together and come up with stuff. And a part of me was like, stop it, Grandma, you know, like, I didn't design my study abroad program, someone else did. But it was also like really cool to just have someone like look at me and look at my uniqueness and appreciate that. And I think for me, it was just like a reminder that like everyone has a different meaning. Like, my grandmother was a nurse, you know, and she was called to help people, and save people, and that's an amazing calling, but I've never been called in that way to do that stuff. So I think having her like look at me, someone who's doing something completely different from what she's ever done, and I think it's like really cool to have her look at me and say, you know, like, you're doing something completely different, but it's amazing, and like only you could think of that. So that like really put a warm spot in my heart. But I'm gonna be really like sentimental now, but one song that always speaks to me when, you know, I have like a fear for the future and I have a fear about my calling in life and my passion and like finding my meaning in life instead of the grand meaning of life, I think of that Macklemore song lyric, and I'm gonna read it to you guys because it's just so good. But yeah, okay, so this is from the song. It's called Sloan's Song, and I think Sloan is his daughter. I don't know, don't quote me on that. I don't want him to be mad at me if I say he has a daughter and he doesn't. He says, you put the work in, don't worry about the praise. Don't try to change the world. Find something that you love and do it every day. Do that for the rest of your life, and eventually the world will change. And I mean, like, if Macklemore said it, it has to be true. So with that in mind, go forth in this world and find your passions. So just remember to be you, be true, and thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. This is Casey Molina, over and out.